Everybody, Alex Mitchakes here, coming to you guys live from Mystic Ground Studios in Dallas, Texas. And today I'm time for another free lesson of the month where I, a session guitarist, give you guys a free guitar lesson on how you can sound better at home, on stage, or in the studio. Today we're going to be checking out how to play a proper Texas shuffle with proper left hand technique and right hand technique and with walking bass lines, just like Stevie Ray Vaughan and other great Texas guitar players would have done. How do I know what a great Texas shuffle should sound like? Well, I'm a Texan, therefore I know. So let's dive into it, shall we? All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys in how playing a proper Texas shuffle is I'm going to show you what notes you're going to be playing for the the left hand walking bass line figures. A lot of Texas guitar players like Lightning Hopkins, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Lonnie Mack, Billy Gibbons, T-Bone Walker, a lot of guys would walk bass lines with the electric guitar. And doing this, you're implying a chord that you're playing like you would in a regular blues. However, there's some movement to it. So what a lot of the Texas guys will do will be playing on the neck position pickup or in the middle on a Stratocaster, and that'll get you a nice kind of cutting, deep, walking bass-like rhythm sound. So that's really important when you're playing a Stratocaster to try either of those positions when you're playing. So the notes we're going to be playing for this walking bass figure, we're playing a Texas shuffle in the key of E here. So we're going to start on our one chord, that's an E chord, and my first figure looks something like this. So basically what we're going to do is this figure in the key of E takes the place of our E chord in the chord progression. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to strike this open E string. It's going to be my first note, right? Then I'm going to have my fourth finger come over, my ring finger, and I'm going to play the fourth fret on my low E string. That's the major third G sharp. Okay, so open E, G sharp. I should already have my index finger pressing down on the second fret of my A string. That's my fifth of the E triad, a B note. So I'm going to have open E, G sharp on the fourth fret of my E string, B, my fifth. So there's my E chord, E, G sharp, B. Going to climb up to my sixth now, which is going to be a C sharp. So that's going to be ring finger on the fourth fret of my A string. Going to be coming down now with my index finger. So I'm going to scoot it down a string onto the D string. And it's going to be on the second fret. I'm going to play the high E octave. So those are all my notes in the E figure. What you want to do to make it walking bass is play the figure going up and then descend back down in the scale form. So I'm going to have open E, pick it twice. So I'm going to kind of swing it. Fourth fret, my G sharp. Index finger, my B. Ring finger on the same string on the fourth fret to my C sharp. Now to the high E octave. Second fret on my D string. Now I'm just going to go back down. Fourth fret on the A string. Descending back to my first fret on my B string. There's my B note on the A string, excuse me. Now I'm going to have my ring finger coming over to the fourth fret on my low E for that G sharp and finish on the E. So here's the whole figure again. If you want to play it slow like that, that'd be great for a blues. You want to speed it up a little bit, it'll make it a little more rock and roll. If you want to mute it, that'll make it a little bit more rockabilly. So there's a lot of ways with how you approach the right hand technique and how fast you play it that can really change this figure and make it really, really a lifelong thing you should be playing on the electric guitar. So there was your E figure. Next thing we're going to do with our left hand is we're going to scoot down a string. And the cool part is the pattern stays the same, but we just scoot down a string to play it in A. So I'm going to start open A string. 4th fret on my A string. There's my major 3rd. In this case, because I'm an A, that's a C sharp. Okay? Now I'm going to go down with my index finger down a string to the 2nd fret, right? There's my 5th, so that's going to be an E. So A, C sharp, E. My ring finger is going to come up now to my 6th, which is going to be an F sharp on the 4th fret of my D string. And I'm going to scoot down with my index finger onto the 2nd fret of my G string. There's my high A. So A, C sharp, E, F sharp, A. So a lot of blues guitarists will switch between the position in E and then to A. So you'll have 4 bars of E, which will sound something like this. The figure I originally showed you is a 2-bar measure. So if I'm going to play 4 bars of E, I would play the E figure twice. Then I'm going to go to A, right? I'm going to go to A for 2 measures. So I'm going to play the A once. Then back to E for another measure. So all in all, your sequencing will sound something like this. Go over to A. Back to E. Now, the last figure we're going to learn is part of the turnaround. We're going to go to the 5-7 chord. So in the case of B, that's going to be a B chord in the case of our key of E. So if you come over here with your index finger, over to the 2nd fret on your A string, there's your root note B. So you're going to go B, and we're going to do a little bit of shifting now. I'm going to place my ring finger on the 4th fret of my A string up to that C sharp. I'm going to pick it and then slide up 2 frets to the 6th fret. So, again, here it is slow. And what that does is get me back into position to where now I can play the rest of the figure. So now index finger on the 4th fret on your D string. There's your 5th. Ring finger on that same string on the 6th fret. That's going to be your, ironically, your 6th interval. And then index finger over to the 4th fret on your G string, and there's your high B. So here it is again. So right after that, I walk it right back down to A, which that pattern we already know from before. Go back to E. And that's the entire left-hand figure for how you play a Texas shuffle. Now you might have noticed in the intro when I was playing it a little bit differently. So the 2 things I do when I play this is, if you notice, I will keep my index finger on the 5th of whichever chord shape I'm in, whether that's E. So if I'm in E, that'd be the 2nd fret of my A string, or if I'm in A, that'd be the 2nd fret of my D string. And the reason I do this, I kind of have it flat. I'm not exactly on the tip of my finger, but I am on kind of just underneath, almost at the bottom of the finger here. And what happens when I'm in this position this way is, by angling my finger, I'm blocking the bottom strings I don't want to hear fretted at the time. So that enables me to pick through the whole guitar a lot more wildly, with a lot more power, without being afraid I'm going to hit open strings I don't want in my shuffle. So it really helps with cleaning up the figure, right? The other real secret to doing this, I recommend getting your left hand down perfect before you start messing with this. Practice it with just the swing rhythm I did earlier in the lesson for you to get that down. But the other big secret of playing a Texas shuffle is entirely what the right hand does while playing the electric guitar. So what happens here, if you notice when I'm picking this, what I'm doing is I will go down through my down picking, and I'll go through by the neck pickup. And when I come back up, it's in a circular motion. I go down by the neck pickup, and I bring the pickup closer to the bridge. So you have this long, short, 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 long. And keeping this circular rhythm going along with the click track or along with your figure is what drives a Texas shuffle forward. If you don't have that right hand technique down, it sounds like you're playing the correct notes and you're playing everything correct, but you're just missing that little bit of authenticity. So really that right hand technique is super important. So once you get that left hand down, maybe sit there for 10 minutes at a time and just practice picking like this while you're muting the guitar. You'll notice once you get that left hand figured out to where you're muting the other strings, this enables you to get a real long, powerful hit on the long of the downstroke. And when you come back up, those other open strings are muted. So you get a... That's really your most important technique here, is getting that right hand down. So let's play through the whole thing now at tempo. I think we're really going to dig it. So if you'd like, for me playing a Texas Shuffle, I prefer playing my Texas Shuffle at 120 beats a minute. I think any faster and you're entering into rock and roll territory like Chuck Berry. So that'd be a little bit like something like this. So that's about what it should sound like put together. I think this might take a lot of practice on some of your parts to get this down, but it was really helpful for me when I learned this to have a couple of my friends who are close with Stevie Ray Vaughan being able to show this to me up close and personal. So I'm glad I could film this video lesson on Texas Shuffle so you guys could have something to watch and replay over and over if you need any help. Well, that's it for me today, guys. I'm Alex Mitchakes. Be sure to follow me at mitchakesmusic.com for all new Tone Talk vlogs, and I'll see you later.